Okay, let's go through the steps of solving equations. The first thing talks about combining like terms. Okay, in order to combine like terms, remember that you can only combine terms that are on the same side of the equal sign. That's really important. They have to be on the same side. You can only combine constants with constants. Remember, constants are just numbers. And variables with variables. If one has a variable and one doesn't, you can't put them together. And we'll look at some examples down below. Some things to remember. A variable with no coefficient really has a coefficient of 1. Let me give you an example. If we just had x, remember that this understood coefficient, the number out front, is a 1. So that's the same thing as 1x. Terms take on the positive or negative symbol directly in front of the term. So for example, if I had negative 3x plus 5x minus 2x, those are all like terms. The 3 is negative, the 5 is positive, the 2 is negative. So when I put these together, it would be negative 3 plus 5, which is 2x, and then 2x minus 2x, ooh, I didn't mean to do that, but that's 0, right? That would cancel out. If there is no symbol in front of the term, then it really means that it is positive. And I think we know that. But an example, if I had 3x minus 4x, okay, there's no symbol, there's no sign out here, so this is understood that this is positive. Okay, so when solving the equations, remember that we had a little saying, don't call me after midnight. We really weren't doing the step D that stands for distribute. The C, remember, stands for combine like terms. Okay, so first we need to look for any like terms. And then I recommend the next step is to move, if you have variables on different sides, move your variables to the same side. And we do that by using inverse operations. Okay, I'll give you a minute to write that down. We always solve equations using inverse operations. So it says the second step. I would really call this the second step, and this the third step, but it would be okay if you switched those steps around. So move the variables to the same side. So next I would say add or subtract the constants, the ones without a variable. So move the constant, and this was move the variable. Okay, and then the last step is to multiply or divide the coefficient. Okay, don't call me after midnight. I don't really like the way these steps were written. Okay, so let's look at these. Let's go through two examples together. Okay, so first off, remember, I talk about drawing a line down through the equal sign. I think that helps a lot of you. So please don't skip that step. Now, let's look for like terms. Do I have any like terms over here? Okay, the answer is yes. We have 5x plus 1x. Remember, that's an understood 1. So those are like terms. 5x plus 1x is 6x. Okay, we also have 4 minus 10. These are our constants. 4 minus 10 is negative 6. So I would write minus 6. Over here on the right, there aren't any like terms, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Okay, next we need to move our variables to the same side. I would probably choose to move the 6x just because it's smaller, but if you're more comfortable with your variables being on the left-hand side, you can absolutely move the 8x. 6x is positive. This is positive, so the opposite is to subtract. Okay, cancels out. I get negative 6 equals 2x minus 16. Okay, next, we're going to move our constants, add or subtract our constants. Minus 16 is my constant, so I'm going to add 16 because that's the opposite. Now remember, this is where we really want to pick up our calculators if we're not good with integers. So I just want to show you this real quick. This is negative 6 plus 16. On these calculators, there's a difference between the minus button and the negative key. So if I want to type in negative 6, I'm going to use this key right here. So negative 6 plus 16 is 10. So if you're not good with integers, pick up that calculator. 10 equals 2x, because this canceled out. And then our last step, multiply or divide by the coefficient. This is 2 times x, so the opposite is to divide. And so x equals 5, and that is our solution. Okay, let's look at the next one. We draw a line down through the equal sign. Do I have any like terms? Ooh, let's see. 18, 2, negative 3, and 1. Ooh, those all go together. Okay, so if you wanted, you could go ahead. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this. So a lot of like terms here. You absolutely can pick up your calculator. I want to show you. You can do 18 plus 2 minus, now make sure this time you use the minus button, minus 3 plus 1. And you should get 18, so see no reason why to miss that. So we get 18. Okay, then we also have negative 7 minus 1x. Now I know this has x's in it, but you could still type in negative 7 minus 1. Negative 7 minus 1. And hit enter, and that gives you negative 8. So it'd be negative 8x. So don't be afraid to use that calculator. Okay, over here on the right, that should be an x. So we've got 30x minus 4x. 30 minus 4 is 26 plus 4. Pick up that calculator if you need help with your adding and subtracting integers. Okay, next step, move our variables to the same side. I still would probably move this one to the right, but let's do it differently just so you can see that you can move it to the left. 26x is positive, so the opposite is to subtract. Okay, that leaves me with 18. Now be really careful. Again, pick up your calculator. Negative 8, so negative 8 minus 26. Okay, make sure we're using that correctly. Negative 34. So negative 34x equals, cancels out, and I get 4. Okay, now we need to move the 18. It's positive, so I'm going to subtract it. That gives me negative 34x equals negative 14. Again, pick up that. Okay, let's see, where were we? And then the last step here would be to divide. We have to cancel out the negative 34. So we're going to divide by negative 34. Now, what I want you to see is that this does reduce. 2 goes into both of these. So that would be 7 over 17. And I'm pretty sure if we change this to a decimal, 7 divided by 17, it's going to be a really ugly looking decimal. So this would be most likely how you would see your solution.